3 Vicodin, half a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. 7 a.m. on a bitterly cold morning. Frank Parrish stands in the narrow bathroom doorway of a derelict apartment. His shirt unbuttoned to his waist, his earpiece switched off, and inside his shoes he has no socks. He cannot recall where his socks are. He knows they're covered in somebody else's puke. There is a lot of blood in the bathtub ahead of him, and amidst the blood are 2 people. Thomas Franklin Scott, sitting there, legs outstretched and out of his mind on something harsh, with his crazy bitch of a girlfriend, name of Heather, leaning against him, her back to his chest. Parrish was told her surname, but he can't now recall it. She's cut a wide gash in her thigh with a straight razor. She's flicked the blood around the place like this is some kind of performance art thing, and now Tommy Scott has gotten it into his head that they're going to end it all here and now. Is everybody in, he asks. The ceremony is about to begin. Acid heads and fuck-ups. Just what's needed at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. Tommy, Frank Parrish says. Tommy boy, for fuck's sake, this is bullshit. Is it, Tommy says. Bullshit, you say? He laughs coarsely. Bullshit. I can spell, Tommy. It's all a scam, Frank. Tommy laughs again, forced and unnatural. He's scared. He's hot-wired. I know it's a scam, Tommy, but you're young. How old are you, for Christ's sake? 24 last count. He laughs again, and then he starts to gag like there's something stuck in his windpipe. 24. Jesus, man, that's young as anything. You got time, Tommy. Look at me. 40-something years old, and I'm in a fucked-up state most of the time. You don't want to wind up like me. I already did, Frank. I already wound up no good. There ain't nothing happening here for people like us. Right, Heather? Sweetheart? But Heather is bleeding out. Her eyes are half closed, and her head is lolling back and forth like a string puppet. She slurs, and Frank Parrish knows that she has maybe an hour, probably less. She looks terrible, pale, real fucked up, thin and weak, her body ravaged by whatever the hell she's been chucking into it. Skag, H, hardball, sugar block, all of it cut with baby laxative, Drano, talcum powder. She isn't going to last long. No fight in her. Not anymore. Tommy, for Christ's sake, how long we known each other? You put me in juvie. Frank smiles. Hell, you're right, man. I forgot about that. Shit, that's got to count for something, hasn't it? I put you in juvie. You lost your cherry with me. Fuck it, Tommy. Get out the fucking tub. Get yourself cleaned up and we'll take your girl down the emergency room and go get some breakfast. You had any breakfast? No. So let's go get some. Bacon, some home fries maybe. You want some steak and eggs? My treat. Fuck it, Tommy says. He has the straight razor in his hand. Heather slurs. Tommy, man, come on. Fuck it, Tommy says. Frank can hear the earpiece crackling at the end of the wire. Don't use negatives, they'll be telling him. Don't tell him what he can't have. What he can't do. Tell him what he can have, what he can do. Positive influence. Make him feel that the world wants him. Use first names. Eye contact. Find his level. Fuckers, what do they know? Come live here for a week and tell me about positive influence. Tell me how the world wants you so bad it's got a hard on. Tommy, seriously now. Heather don't look so good, man. We got to get her down to ER. They got to put some stitches in her leg. As if in response to Parrish's words, Heather turns towards the wall, and the scarlet mouth of a wound that gapes in her thigh oozes another quart of blood into the tub. Must have hit the femoral artery. And Tommy's having a hard time sitting upright now. He's skidding, can't get purchase. He's got the straight razor in his hand and it's all going to hell in a handbasket. He starts crying, like a little kid. Like he bust a window with a football and he's been grounded and he's sorry and there's no allowance for a month. He didn't mean to do it. Isn't there such a thing as an accident? It was an accident, for God's sake. And now all this shit is coming down on him hot and heavy. All this bullshit. Hey there, Frank says. His voice calm, soothing, comforting, paternal almost. Frank has kids. He says kids, but they're all grown up now. Caitlin and Robert. He's 22. She's 2 years younger. They made it through college. They're doing good. At least when he last heard. Their mother is a nightmare in high heels and lip gloss. No, he shouldn't say that. He should be more tolerant. He should be more forgiving. Fuck it, she's a bitch. So he says, hey there, Tommy. His voice gentle and certain. Hey there, son. We can make it out the other side. It's going to be okay. I promise. You can't promise squat, Tommy says, and Frank notices how the razor catches the dull light through the window. The day is dull, a grey, faceless nothing of a day. Not a good day to die. You can't promise me anything, Frank. Whatever you say here means nothing. You're just going to say whatever they told you to say so I don't stick her, right? Frank wishes he had his gun. Left it back there at the door. There were terms and conditions for getting this far. Leave the gun behind, undo your shirt to the waist, take that piece of shit listening thing out of your goddamn ear. I don't want you having conversations with anyone but me. You get that, Frank? You get me on this one? I get you, Frank had said. And he left his gun at the door, unhooked his earpiece, removed his jacket, unbuttoned his shirt, and out in the hallway there are maybe 8 or 10 other guys, negotiators, bullshit artists, all of them straight up sober, whereas Frank is slugging his way through the shadow of 3 days of drinking. Enough Bushmills and he's sick like a baby. He doesn't have enough Irish blood in him to stand up against the onslaught. But Tommy Scott has been arrested half a dozen times by Frank Parrish. Tommy knows Frank's name. So when there's a call about some asshole with a straight razor cutting up his girlfriend in a bathtub, when a uniform gets down here and calls it in, it's Tommy who says, "Get me Frank Parrish, get me Frank fucking Parrish, or I'll stick her in the fucking throat right fucking now." So here he is. Shoes without socks, puke stains down the front of his pants, no gun, no earpiece. Early Monday morning after 3 days of Bushmills, and he feels like the devil raked him a new asshole and turned his guts inside out. "Okay, so we're done playing games now," he says. He's beginning to fray at the edges. He wants out. He wants to go home. He wants to take a shower, find some clean socks, get a cup of coffee and a smoke. He's had enough of Tommy Scott and his dumb coos of a girlfriend, and he wishes they'd get the fucking thing over with one way or the other. And that's what Tommy does. "Fuck it, baby, one more time," he sings, and he pulls that straight razor right up against the side of her face, and then he jerks it round like he's pulling the whipcord on a chainsaw. Blood, what little of it she has left, jettisons up the wall to Tommy's left and sprays back against the shower curtain. "No!" Frank hears himself holler, but there's something so magnetic about what he's seeing, something so horrifyingly compelling, that he's rooted to the spot, right there in his puke-spattered brogues, and it's all he can do to lunge forward when Tommy Scott takes that straight razor and cuts his own throat. "Takes some fucking balls to do that," Frank will say later. "Takes some stainless steel fucking balls to cut your own throat, and cut it deep like he did." Tommy didn't bleed out earlier. Tommy ain't no sapling. He's got to be 5'11", maybe 175 pounds, and when he opens up his jugular it comes rushing out of there like a street corner fire hydrant in the height of summer. Frank gets a mouthful. It's in his eyes, his hair, all over his t-shirt. Even as he's struggling to get a grip of the kid, even as he's trying to pull him up out of the bathtub and lay him on the floor so he can push some fingers into the wound and stop the blood, even as he's doing this he's wondering whether Tommy Scott is HIV positive or if he's got AIDS or hepatitis or something. 2 minutes, maybe 3 tops, and Heather something or other will be as dead as it gets. Frank Parrish manages to haul them out of the tub. Later he won't even remember how he did it, where the strength came from. It's all a mess of twisted arms and legs. Blood everywhere. More blood than he's ever seen. He's kneeling over Tommy Scott, who's now on the bathroom rug twitching and gibbering like he's got his fingers in a socket, and the blood won't stop coming. Frank is holding the guy's neck hard enough to choke the poor bastard. But there's some horsepower back of this thing, and it keeps on coming, keeps on coming, keeps on coming. Heather is gone. She's dead weight. Not a prayer. "Fuck it, Frank," is the last thing that Tommy Scott says. The words are choked through a throat full of blood, but Frank hears him good and clear. He dies with a smile on his face, like he believes whatever is waiting for him is one hell of a lot better than whatever he's left behind. Frank sits back against the side of the tub. He has blood all over him and is starting to dry. The negotiator comes back to the bathroom, wastes no time in telling him how he fucked it up, how he could have saved their lives. Save their lives? Frank asks him. For what, exactly? And the negotiator looks right back at him with that expression they all do. "Heard about you," that expression says. "Heard all about you, Frank Parrish." And Frank says, "Fuck you." Once upon a time, he can't remember when, someone asked Frank Parrish why he chose the job. Frank remembers how he smiled, how he said, You ever get the feeling that maybe the job chose me? He pulls himself to his feet and goes in search of a smoke.